Hello and welcome back to Bump Love. So the media has been awash with news since last week about the disappearance of 3 primary school students from school. Upon investigation, after the children were eventually found, it was discovered that these kids had been duped into starting an online business by another student who even went a mile further to offer them hostage in his rich father's home in Entebbe. When I heard this story, I didn't even know what to think. Like I was, oh my gosh. Did you guys have similar feelings?
I got that similar feeling.
You know, it's so funny that you say investigation. I'm like, is this social media investigation? Because I had something different. Okay. That's what I had.
You and 99 others.
Yes. You know that these 3 boys had this really genius idea, which I must commend them for, that they are thinking business when some of us adults are just like, somebody give me a job. You know, and they want to sell phones. And the plan was that they would go to Dubai, buy the phones for themselves, and then come here and sell them.
Wow.
Because I guess school has...
Allegedly, apparently they had some stock anti-rich father's child. Master planner. Please not said master planner.
Was not part of...
Did not go with the children. He did not go.
No.
So apparently they didn't even find them with any travel documents.
Yeah.
So I don't think that Dubai story was a social media story. The Dubai of the planes. Because allegedly they had some small stock already on them. And they had money to buy other stock. Because what was the house for if they were going to Dubai?
Now, for me, the story I had, I'll tell you the story I had. But you people fear master planners. That story reminded me of these drug dealers. He'll never be a man. Like for him, he sits back. And you people, watch your kids. Because if you're raising a gang leader, this kid was such a pro. Because I had that story. That's all I had. He was planning this whole thing for a very long time, for quite a long time.
From the year before.
First of all, he's
the
a
mom
rich...
said, there was a voice recording of the mom who said that they had even planned to do it last year.
Yeah.
Exactly, in
happened.
June.
Yes.
Yeah.
The boy was in P5 at inception of this story.
Wow. So this kid has been planning this thing for quite a while. I'm a rich kid. My dad is rich, guys. You need to fall in my store. You need to fall in this business deal. So what I had is this business happening. He's the 4th kid. There were 3. So this whole deal, we are going to do business, guys. You don't even need to waste your time in school. Get on my board. We are rich here. So for me, what I had is they already had the tickets, the travel documents. But on that day, he stayed in school, you know, just communicating on phone, gave them a card, use this ATM, go and get the money that you're going to use. You'll need this money. So when they go, they try the first time. I think they didn't, I don't know, maybe
The pin must have been
The pin must
wrong,
have been
'cause
wrong.
They probably tried it 3 times. And
He probably stole it from his father, or maybe he changed the codes or something. So the 3rd time they tried, it, you know, just took the card. And that's how they got stranded. That's the one I had.
But me, I went by the voice note of the mom. There was a voice note, like a very long voice note. But the truth is, even it had so many holes. There's so many inconsistencies. So say, for example, there was an adult who they were talking to. Where did that adult
come
end?
from?
How come we gotten there were small boys and arrested them in the Entebbe police, then Kasangati police? Where is the adult that they've been talking about? Who was even one of the boys at his voice was breaking. He was now pretending he was a big man.
So I think this was a master planner, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Allegedly.
But I think for me, one of the things that was quite interesting was there was an Uber driver
Yes.
who really does ask, what's this about?
Yes. Yes.
And then he talks to the adults in this, who's a 13-year-old boy whose voice
On
has
the other end
broken
of the
on the other
phone.
end. But what I really probably respect about this driver is that he actually stayed with the kids.
Yes, he didn't let them go.
He didn't let them go, and I found that quite interesting for us. Yeah, as adults, when we see certain things, you know, the whole village raising a child, like it was now no longer about the money. It was a thing of, okay, these kids have told me we are going to a house, but I've reached we are entering an ATM. Kambalinde, and I see where that, anyway, we don't know where the Uberman ended, but I think for me, in that entire story, that really got
And
me.
even the fact that maybe he could have done better, but the fact that children had to forge a voice to pretend to be an adult meant that there was some sort of due diligence of, I'm not taking you children,
Kids,
where's
yes,
the parent?
yes.
I need
Let's
to talk,
see
I
the
need to talk to
consent.
an adult,
Yeah.
right? And then
Yeah.
that led them to, well, they forged and whatever, but at least I respected the Uber driver.
I
as
also
well.
did respect
Yeah, but
him,
my whole Angie, you were in
Namasagali.
Namasagali.
Where escaping was the way to go. Also we had.
So I think let's also talk about the fact that these kids, this happens, and this is actually something my son brought out to me and said that, yeah, but this happens in schools. Why is it that
Why
they're
is it a
bringing
big
it up
deal?
now? And my response was, it's a primary school.
Yes.
So this adolo and ego and, messing of the minds usually happen, not that it's right, but it happens later on when children
Secondary
feel
school.
that they are young adults and they can do anything and they have the world,
But you do
as their
know that
platform.
the children
But P7?
nowadays are maturing much earlier than
Faster,
they did.
yes. This is
And also that COVID period, we look at all the damage it did to us as adults. But we also need to, children were placed in situations where they saw money being made. Money can be made, not only adults are the ones that make this money. I mean, it's such a pity. I had the mom's voice note. You could really hear a man who's like, Banange Nkolechi. What do I do? My child is this age and he loves money that much. I don't know whether it's this generation, but man, the cane that would have met you at home.
You think that would have solved the issue? though?
It would try.
It would try.
at home.
You enter like this, there's a battle that would land on your head. And you come tell me.
Come and tell me.
Yeah, come
After
tell
I've
me.
And I like that Angie brought back the COVID period, because everyone that got money in that COVID period, the kids that were sent to do something and paid money, they're not giving value for school anymore. They're like, now why waste time with school? And also the phones that we gave them, this whole, the world is now bigger for them. They think out of the box because, like you said, they are maturing, like their brains are bigger than their bodies because they're exposed to too much.
But can I say something about this thing called phones? Because I feel like when we talk like this, and it was a lot in a mom's voice note, remove those phones, remove those. Guys, the world is moving ahead. The last thing that we want to do is hold our children even further. But Africa is already behind. Now you want to add it some more being behind. Here is my thought, right? When I'm telling a child to cross the road, a road is dangerous.
It's always dangerous.
But I am the one who guides a child on how to use the road. Everything in this world, to be honest, TV, everything is dangerous. If you think, even friends are dangerous. Everybody, even their father or their mother can be dangerous. Our role as parents is to guide our children. Let me be honest. I sit with my kids and I know that it's, for me, I mean, we are in a transitional phase as a generation. We're in a transitional phase. And even my partner, my husband, is very uncomfortable with it. But for me, this is my thought behind the process of my children being close to me when I am on my phone. They see the content I consume.
True.
So they'll see that, the content she consumes is she's learning. Then they see me doing the things I've learned. I said, this one was cooking, this one I've cooked it. She was listening about money, she was doing this, but she's dodging the ones of people who are naked. She's dodging the ones of people. And then times they'll ask you, and I'm like, no, this content is not good. Why?
So as you're
I don't
scrolling,
want
they be
my
seeing the naked person.
And they see me going like this. And they will ask me, yes, Bianca's ever asked me, she's like, why didn't you watch that one? I said, because they're half naked. Why do I do that? Because they are going to find it. And instead of somebody else telling them to watch it, I want to be the one who tells them, don't watch
do
it.
this,
Because
don't do
me, while I'm here protecting my child, someone is not protecting their child. And that child is going to have access to my child until that see these ones, they are dancing. You guys, you've seen those latest videos of children dancing badly.
Yes, and people
praising them, or people now saying, oh my God, yet they were the ones when they had the house party, they were dancing on top of their husband, they were rubber dabbing. They think their children didn't see. So for me, in my mind, I'm like, you know what? I know that the world they are entering is dangerous. The future is dangerous. It is my role to guide them in that process. And I'm too emotional.
Manuela, but my question is, let's go back to the basics. Why are you even viewing your phone in your child's presence?
It's her way of guiding her children, because you know kids observe, they learn through observation, and I think that's what she's trying to model.
The thing is that, you know, sometimes when you give a child sugar for the first time, you know what they do? Right? But now they've tasted it.
So they know it's sweet.
Exactly. How about we simply do not have our phones around when children are there? Or if you have your phone, you say, no, this is time for mommy.
And then that sugar is going to be given to them by somebody else.
My thing is also, I also tell you, as children grow up, you see everything you've taught them, at the end of the day, the power of discernment is within them.
Exactly.
You can beat, you can chopper, you can do all these things, but if that's what the child finds either attractive, that's where they'll go. And the second they've seen, now they know it's actually possible. If they saw it again, this could go two ways.
Yes.
Either they would look at the phone and want to look more, or immediately say, Mom said this is wrong. I'm just thinking as parents, because the truth is, the world is changing, but we don't have to change with it. Look at the Chinese, look at the Japanese. They're going out of their way to maintain their culture. You get
but that's
me?
because they've limited their exposure as a community, as a whole.
As a country.
But
you
where
see,
this has been, where the hold is taken away from
but
you.
do you see what happens is that it doesn't start as a country. It starts in our homes.
No, for them it started as a country, no, darling.
You think so? And I can't
talking
I
about
feel like
like
we're
this.
splitting hairs.
Yes.
Pumla, we had a mini discussion before we came on air about training a child in the way that they should go, and they will not depart. You were talking about the power of discernment, but the discernment has to have basis. It comes from what my parents or what my community has taught me to do. Discernment is not floating in the air. It's what was I taught? Where were the boundaries drawn for me? And I think, well, for her, she chooses observation. You might choose completely eliminating.
I think it's just different
and that's
ways
your
of-
your prerogative.
Yeah.
No,
as a
that's not
parent.
even my way,
Oh,
because
it's
by the
not?
time I was raising my children,
There were no phones?
no, the phones were there.
Oh.
But how could a child be caught touching someone's phone? An adult's
just
phone?
did not exist.
It just didn't happen
Yeah.
all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And I
So
mean, that's
that's why
It's
maybe
your
I wouldn't
way.
understand.
I think it's your
for
way.
It's your way, yeah.
No,
Because
it
like
was,
me, the
it
way-
was the way of the time.
The way I was raised,
Yes.
my mom, we did everything
She said,
together.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it
So,
was-
like, it's
okay,
and
so
I-
based on this guidance, so it's clear that we were raised
differently.
Differently.
to achieve the same result.
Exactly.
But how Angie says, it could go either way.
Either way.
So
Yes,
based on that, and coming back to this story, gossip aside now of these kids, in our experiences while we were at that, in those ages, okay, so maybe 13, 14, teenage, early teenage, do we have any
I see where this
stories that we can share with our personal or maybe our friends or situations that we were part of? Because you know that in this story, the police actually interviewed some some students who were not part of the plan but had known of the plan. Yes. So were you that student who ever knew about kids escaping? Were you the kid that escaped? Were you a master planner who just sat on the sidelines and watched people?
I will start by saying, for example, like you said, Namasagali, you see? What we see and what actually happens are two different things. In Namasagali, you're escaping to go where? Really? To go where?
You had
It was-
everything.
they brought
you were the
charm
hub.
to you. They brought life
You
to
were
you.
the hub.
Exactly.
Oh, I see.
Between the
I
school
see.
and the main road were 13 miles of nothing. Do you get what I mean? 13 miles of nothing. For example,
so that
pregnancy,
would be a hindrance.
all
Yeah.
until 13 years. I don't know if you, Panange Namasagali was in the middle of
Nowhere.
nowhere.
I've never been actually.
Do you get? So really you're thinking now I try to run away from school. Then in Sagali, if you thought that you were the most of us stubborn kid, you found those who were 150.
More stubborn.
Kakana. They used to say, oh, those people, there is sex, there is what?
Yeah.
The entire Namasagali history.
Yes.
The entire.
Yeah.
Whilst I was there. One.
One,
From 19000.
one pregnancy.
One pregnancy.
Oh, is that?
One.
In Namasaga.
Yet we knew other things, Faye, outside.
Outside.
Because me, that's where I wanted to go. I begged my...
I feel like
you
I
get
feel
what I
like the
mean?
motto of that school was, let's give them the world. Maybe that will help with their discernment.
Yes.
So they are
I
not.
hear
They are
you.
not
Guess it
thinking,
was a
"Eh, what's
technique,
that
a
offense?"
style.
I feel like it was.
It was a I feel like it was a
It was a
style where they
discipline.
Because there was, I used to look at like other schools. They were strict. Ours were crazy.
Yeah.
You were found drinking alcohol, you'd get 100 hippo hides.
What?
100.
catching yabo.
As you know, this it's like a rubber that flips like that. Like that they used to
Okay,
use
yes,
for
yes, yes,
slaves.
yes, I know that.
Do you get me? 100.
These,
And to
these
make
stories
matters worse,
we didn't learn about.
you
we
would
didn't know.
not be wearing clothes.
Yeah.
You would wear your swimming costume properly.
To go to get cake.
Properly. Whether it was 2-piece or 1-piece, that was really up to you. Because
that is
one, we are embarrassing you.
Yeah.
Do you understand me? You will not pack, you will not anything. You come as you were.
Yes.
And you were king.
So
you
let
know,
me ask: was alcohol acceptable, but like at certain times?
not
Not
at
at
all.
all.
Those were the 100 hippo hides you'd get if you
yeah.
were found.
Okay.
But because, you know, it gave off this kind of like relaxed kind of feel.
Yeah.
Because with everything, why was it relaxed? Everything you did had a punishment. We had over 100 rules, a code sheet.
Yeah.
Your phone speaking to, you're in S1, your phone speaking to a child in S3, that's mixing of
That
levels.
school that wore minis, I'm really
Oh
sure.
my
I know,
gosh,
right?
too.
What means I did more, but
I
did you
know.
see those dancers who are like
And guess what?
Satan has
That's
entered
what I'm
the
saying
pool.
is that a lot of, when we pick up ideas from the Western world, we don't realize that they are dialing back
Yeah.
to what we used to do. As I said,
That's happening.
when I was raising my children, your phone was your phone. There was no way when a child could be found touching a phone. But slowly, and we are seeing people are there, we pick up those habits.
This is
But the truth is, you can raise children to be afraid of touching an adult person's things. Because from the phone, they're going to get your car. My sons are 25, 23, they drive.
Yes.
But you, Wanji,
No, I don't. I think you've really hung up on it. Yeah,
hang
but I
up
think
all.
for some people, it will work where you give them freedom and put out the boundaries.
Yes.
Now, personally, I did escape from home,
From where?
not from school. From home, but I don't know if I think I
Why
was
did you
like in
escape from home?
P5, like
So you were the same age as these kids when they were planning.
right. Now the person who took me was my cousin. I think I've not told my husband, so I don't know.
He'll see when it eventually airs.
This is my wife. Anyway, so there was this girl. She was a cousin of ours, and she had a reputation for liking older men and money and all of that stuff. And when we would see, I would just see a prostitute, banangi. So now, one day she comes for me. She's like, hi, how are you? I'm not going to say the place that we went, but she was like, I want to take you to. It was in Entebbe. I lived in Makerere, and we had never gone outside of the Makerere gate. She's like, I want to take you there. We'll go, we'll eat. So in my mind, I'm like, isn't she going to take me in the boys? Isn't she going? But I'm like, but I want to go to the beach, man. I really want to go. So she's like, okay. So I'm like, okay, Kawa, we go.
Yeah.
I think how she master planned me, I was just, I was going. So we went. We had no money. So which kind of shocked me because I was like, they told me that this is the one who likes big men who have money. What do you mean we have no money? Anyway,
When I get
we went on
P5.
Kameme. The whole journey from Makerere, went on Kameme, went to the park, went on to another Kameme, all the way to Entebbe, Now, when we
This
reached,
girl is your age as well? You're the
no,
same
no,
age?
she's older.
a
Like
bit
she's like
older.
in P7. She's
Okay.
like
For our diaspora audience.
Kameme. What's that? The engine. What was it?
So in the taxi or matatu, there's that divider between the co-driver and driver's seat, and then the rest of the
Normally hot.
very metallic. Some of them are covered, but yeah, carry on.
So that's where we were sitting. So we reached, but now she had the money for when we reached the beach. So she paid entrance fees. We entered. She paid for us to swim. The water was so blue. I'll never forget that place. I remember what I ate. Chicken in a basket. Yeah, it was a swimming pool. But I don't understand. I was so mesmerized. Chicken in a basket with Fanta. I'll never forget that. When we had fun. We swam. There was no man in all this.
Yeah.
No man. The Masagali style, what you think is not what you think. We swam. So we realized that it was time to go, and it was now like 6:30 p.m. Pack up, which should be still good time, really. Yeah? You know, kids were playing. My mom should maybe think I'm out there. I'll reach maybe by 8. Were taxis allowing us on Kameme? We had finished the money. We waited for Kameme. Kameme came at 10 p.m. What? We stood on the roadside for 3 hours. We finally got a Kameme. Those ones are last taxis, which are now ending. That's how we got. By the time I reached home, I was shaking. Meanwhile, when we reached the park, she went to her
home.
Me, I went on the Kameme to my home. Good Lord. My father had never flogged me.
That day.
That
Auntie had been looking for you.
Auntie, he had looked for me.
No phones. They have no idea where
phones,
you are.
No idea where I was. In the meantime, by the time I reached home, now it's like maybe midnight. Dogs are everywhere. Dogs chased me. I've never liked dogs from that day. Dogs chased me everywhere. By the time I reached home, I was shaking like this. My father was there. He had pulled out his belt, and that's how he does it.
For effect. Down.
And meanwhile, I don't think he caned me much. Like maybe it was like.
But because of the fear.
The first time he had ever done it, and the only time he ever did.
You knew what you
And
had
meanwhile,
done
that
was
he
really
said,
wrong.
Don't you ever do that to us.
So, I would like to speak in the capacity of the master planner. First
on
of all, it disturbed me most in this story that the master planner had eliminated himself and the rest continued. And I remember even my son, that was his first reservation. Like, how does that happen? And I'll say this. I remember when we were in school, I think my parents these days watch this show on Sambun King. But they're like, Baranga, our daughter, she's releasing. What is she confessing today? Baranga, anyway. That's confession. I remember when we were in school, in boarding school, we were in S3 or S4, and we had something similar, but ours was really to go and mingle with the boys, the other gender, and come back to school without getting caught, right? So to be honest with you, yes, I was the master planner. I'm the one who set the ball rolling. The idea wasn't mine, but someone came and said, I want to do this, and said, don't worry, I got you. Organized for them whatever they wanted to. But the day before they were supposed to go, we were supposed to go, I realized there was a glitch. From where we were supposed to be crossing, and there was a vulnerable spot where we could leave, get out of the school in the fence. But when the day before, I realized that they had actually put a guard to start watching. So before it was a blind spot, but now I think something had happened and they put caution. And when I came back and told these other people that, you know what, you guys, I don't think we can do this anymore because of A, B, C, D, E. Of course, the other girls, they were wild. Now, personally, at that point, the boys were not my thing. I just wanted to get out of school. So for me, when I realized that there was that problem, for them, that you know, at 14, 15-year-old, when they tell them boys, they get, ooh, nothing can stop them. And I could see that thirst in these girls. For me, I didn't have it. I didn't have that thirst. I just wanted to get out of school. So for me, it was easy, and I like the spirit of discernment also at that time. These girls insisted, no, we are going to seduce the God. What? You guys, we were 14, 15 there.
Wow.
Can you imagine? We embedded dinner, the whatever. I was like, what? I'm sorry. And that's where I learned when I grew that spirit of discernment. You know that what in a way in coma. You know, your parents, there's a subconscious, yes, I want to do this. I'll do whatever means necessary to get that satisfaction or fulfillment. But at the back of my mind, there is a parent, a guardian, an authority
Talking there.
saying that no, you will get
go.
problems. This isn't an issue. Please do. I spoke to myself. I tried to advise them. They refused. But of course, I didn't want to lose my street cred.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I did for them everything until that point, escorted them, and then I backed away. I just left them. Exactly 10 minutes later, these guys, you know those were sirens of police, of roll call. There was a loud siren. Woo, woo, woo. Everyone assembled. They had caught, the guard had caught the stupid young girls, all of them, the ones who were seducing. Expulsion immediately the next day. And you know, like after that, I was like, you guys, oh Lord. And of course, they gave in my name as the master planner. They did. But you know where they found me? Inside my bed, I'm shivering. When I had woo, me, I knew. And let me advise you guys, you know, these kids, these children, when they were escaping, do you know why they were escaping? They were escaping because they were tired of school. They were flunking out of school. They were not doing well in school at all. So they were like, why are we wasting our time here? We can do something else. I'm going to tell you what my bougie son told me. How do they expect to be the last in class and think they are going to be the first in life?
Wow.
How does that work? It
It
doesn't. And people would like to give those people who dropped out of school. Those people dropped out of school while they were doing well. They did not drop out of school when they were the last. Most of those people, most of them, the ones who are flanking out, so it's like someone is always trying to look for an easier way out because this one has failed. They don't want to put in the effort or the extra work, doing the work and for everything. It starts from Buto. Right? They were once young. It starts, and even you'll grow up to be that adult and meet something I recognize very quickly as like, man, this thing out. They found me in my bed there shaking. My decamate, I thank you so much, that decamate, you know yourself. She's the one who told, she was mad. I said, no, she has not been anywhere. She's actually not feeling well. Please note it was fear that was taking me. But yeah, I'm happy to say that I lived to tell the tale. That's what I can say.
Wow. Oh my gosh. That just reminded me of me. I also escaped from home and I was very young. Senior one, vacation. We're entering, so we're like, before we enter senior one, a friend, a neighbor, I won't mention her name, but she knows herself. She's like, let's go. We used to love dancing. But of course, like I'd never gone to a club. We go, she was the master planner, very sharp. Enter that daytime, it was daytime. So I was comfortable. Afternoon, I'm like, by 7 I'll be in. So we go. Danke. Muyenga Hotel International, it was it. So where Dakadanke was on, her cousins were there. So that was the plot, to leave me with her cousins because they had always wanted to hang with me and there was no opportunity while we were home because I didn't have time for crap. So we go, that's 7, you know when it starts to get dark. Your instinct is like,
time to go
she
home.
had burst on me. She was nowhere to be seen.
Where is home?
No.
Entebbe Road?
No. Home is Kawempe. We had gone to Muyenga. Exactly. Yeah, taxi, what. I tell she had all the dimes. Me, I didn't have anything. So
At least you had money to sit in a chair in a taxi.
yes. So she left me there.
Wow.
Of course, even the little man I think I could have bought a soda, high on the energy soda, dance my sugar. By 7, 8, I'm like, where is this girl? We didn't have phones. Where is this girl? So one of the cousins is like, you know what? I think she's not about to come back. I'm like, no, I don't want to go home without her. I had to just go back. I think about 10 is when we decided, it was late. I got home at 11. You people, my mom. I cannot even explain. Like I'd never seen her like that. She's like, what the hell? Of course, I had to hand her in. They hunted for her. Police, where had you taken our daughter?
Oh wow.
So you came off as Muna, they just took me.
Oh, I should have
Isn't that how that's how also these Green Hill kids said?
Yeah.
These primary kids, they said they kidnapped us.
That was their first
story.
So
They
of course,
kidnapped
Bambi, they
us.
interrogated how. So what happened? What? Like, no, it was just us. Like, no, I didn't mean anything. But yeah, that was the incident.
Oh wow.
And
I doubt that
curious.
Rach has mine.
Bambi, Rachel, when did you escape to church?
By the Rachel would surprise us anyway. For as I
will
said, in
not.
our school there was no escaping. You just couldn't escape, you know. But I think it was maybe S4 VAC. Yeah, so my parents were in Sese Islands doing stuff, and then my brothers, whenever we wanted to go out, would hang out at my brother's place. So they were like, okay, fine, you can go. You come sleep over at our place rather than going back. So of course we went to the disco. We had a great time with my cousin Lillian, we had an amazing time. But then now it was time to go back home, he's like, you know what? I've left. Go back to Makindi. We're like, yeah, but Kasta, the mummies are not there. We arrived when Mummy was at home. At 4:30. You know those days you dance until it is time to get into a taxi. A.M. We reached. Mommy said, oh, you guys are back. Great. You guys are back? Yeah, that was Saturday. And my mom is full old school. Yeah. Okay, Saturday, Sunday. Monday, she says we go to work. Because us guys, when my mom is working, we go to work with her. So we go to work, we come back home very tired. That's Monday, we sleep. Tuesday, she says we go to work. We're like, hey, it looks like Mommy has forgiven us. My mom doesn't forgive, she doesn't forget. It's usually instant, but this time, yeah, so Tuesday we go, we work, and it was hard work. My mom had a cleaning company. Okay, Tuesday evening we come back. We're about to go to bed. She tells us, girls, get up, all of you, dress. Have I told you this story before?
No.
Yeah. Get up, dress. You're going to the club. Oh. I'm like, what? Our mother?
How?
Catholic
How old are you at this point now?
Oh, we're
It's like
about
how old?
16, 17 there. Okay. We go to the club. I'm like, this is it. We call our friends. Remember, those days was for dialing, but somehow we always made it. Tuesday, we go to the club. She tells the bouncers, because she used to also do soca as well, tell them, I'm going to come back and pick the girls in the morning. They stay inside. We're like, you people, our mother is the best. Peku morning. I did a Pumlaka thing, right? Peku morning. 6 o'clock, she's there with our clothes, says, now change in the club.
Go and work.
We go to work. This is Wednesday.
Lord.
She tells the manager they shouldn't sleep.
Very good.
We chapa where the Nigerian Health Commission buy you. You're beginning to get tired, but we're still buying the cupboards. But last night, you know how it was. Oh my God. Yeah, and those days you had to learn the stroke of the season.
Of course.
Yes, thank you. So now this is Wednesday evening. We are going home. We're sleeping in the car. We arrive home. We do our duties. About 9 o'clock, she's like, girls, wake up.
We're going to
You are
the
going
club.
to the disco.
I love it.
That was Wednesday. That was Thursday.
What?
Was she there with you?
No, she would sleep.
Okay.
And by 6, she'll be back. By Thursday, we were all asleep.
Oh, so you do club and then
You go back
Then
to
what?
work the whole day.
Until you want to club.
Until you want
Until
to
you
club.
club.
It's okay. Let's do it.
Friday, Saturday,
Kankumalemu akajanja.
Sunday is used to be oldies.
Wow.
I can assure you, me, I'm one of those people. I have never.
Going back to the club.
No, gone to the club?
Yeah.
Yes. But this thing of,
Yeah.
I'm going to go to the club.
Yeah.
Bubumu was
From
put
that
down.
day, I think I got into a club maybe 7 years later.
She quenched your thirst.
I like that one.
With 2 hands and said,
It reminds me of
I
those
love
kids
that.
they
I
bring
love that
from the
treatment.
village. Hey,
Rachel, do we have stories?
I really no. I mean, how do you follow this story?
I thought you were going to tell us a story how you had run away from your home in marriage.
At least
You've never escaped.
You've never escaped from your husband. You never escaped from your husband.
I didn't escape from my husband, but I did sleep out of home. But I was such a late bloomer, Bambi. Closer to when I got married. I was an adult, so never escaped from. The boundaries were
They were really pretty clear, and you're
very clear,
followed
and
them.
you know how I am.
Oh, bless you, Rachel. So yes, we'd like to say that. Fine, it might be all fun and games now, but what happened to those 3 primary 7 pupils who escaped from school was so unfortunate. And I can only imagine what was going through their parents' minds and their hearts at the time.
Yeah.
But would like to say that we are thankful that they got back home and in school in one piece.
Yes.
That at the very least. I'd just like to tell parents that try to keep the lines of communication continuously open with your children. At least secure that foundation at the very least. And parting shot, train up your children in the way that they should be. The way I would like.
The way they should go, and they will never depart
From it. True.
Please like, share our socials. Leave us with your comments. What would you have done if it was indeed your child that had been caught escaping from school? Until next time, with love from Bump Love.